Anyway, we're looking into some.
So you're really looking at probably 50% of the expenditure just to do the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You know, if we're thinking 80 to replace it with culverts, and you probably get 15 years out of the Band-Aid.
Well, hopefully you get that on it. Yeah. I mean, the trouble is right now that deck. I don't know if I've ever seen a bridge with the deck wore so bad. I mean, those bridge plank in some places are wore down, and there aren't much more ancient. I mean, they're half gone.
They've got, I don't know how, a couple 100,000 in grain storage, so probably more than that.
Just north of that bridge here, when they did some of that work, they put a whole bunch of cars in there and covered them up.
Oh yeah.
To stabilize that area. But there used to be a bunch of junk cars. They lined them up side by side.
Yeah.
Covered them up.
I
got some cars on it.
I mean, if again, we might visit with them about whether they would be receptive to us vacating that, because of course if we vacated it, we could save a little money. We wouldn't even design it for the 24-foot road top. We'd be buying maybe with a 20-foot and maybe a little bit steeper on the slopes, so the pipes wouldn't have to be quite so long. But again, we just started doing some initial work on hydraulics and looking at it. So until we get some more information, but I think it's since it's their only access in, it's not like we close the bridge and let them go in a different direction for a while. So if we're going to do it, I think we need to move on it fairly quickly.
They'll probably want us to do it in July and August, when it's usually pretty dry, so they can get out through that field.
Yeah.
They farm, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 acres. They're pretty, I mean, that's a pretty good size. They got a lot of grain stored in that place. It's kind of,
I mean, again, and there is some other things that we could probably do as just a temporary fix, and try to support that one side. I don't know what it would cost us to do that.
If you have the deck off, do you have the ability to do some replacement in the piling and then just put the deck back on to extend your life further than?
Yeah, I think if we were going to do if we were going to do the deck, then we also want to look at maybe doing something with some of the other piling and maybe even the caps. See how bad the caps are. But I mean, the thing is 25 years old, and the bridge contractor we had said, well, that's about typical of what you get on some of these wood bridges. So, but I mean, the rest of the bridge looks fairly decent except for that one side. I don't know.
Do we grade that once a week?
I don't know how often I didn't ask Mike how often we ever did anything with it. I think they probably take care of it pretty much on their own now, I think. The only thing with the pipe is I think the structure that's in there is a lot bigger than what's needed. And there is you come sort of off Highway 39 and across the stream, and then the driveway actually goes down for a little bit further before it starts up. So we would probably design it for maybe a 10 or 25 year flood frequency, with the idea if it ever gets flooded, it'll cross the road on the other side and not take the pipe out. And when you got just a single property that you're accessing down there, it's not like you're going to get a lot of people that aren't familiar with the area driving through it. So if they did wash it.
How wide is it now?
I think it's a 20-foot bridge.
So, if they want, you better talk to the city. They might want something wider than that. If they do, they could pay for the difference. What do you think?
I think our hands are kind of tied right now, just because it's our responsibility. I can't see
No.
anybody. I mean, Ron had mentioned vacating and giving them the structure. Well, I can't see any incentive for them wanting to do that
Yeah.
if we have to maintain it now. I mean, I think everything should be on the table. I mean, try and work out the best thing we can, but.
Well, if you put the pipes in long enough so they got a 20-foot road bed without, coming up with
No
guardrails or
Yeah.
they'll be, I would guess they'd be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable, if you don't have to put sides on it,
But, I mean, we don't build any bridges anymore that are 20 foot wide, and everything that's at least 10, some of the older ones, which are, I think they're 25, but most of the new.
I thought we changed our policy to say we were doing 30s.
I think we said we were going to do 30s on everything that's farm market or traffic count over a certain count, but on some of them, anything that's eligible for BR funds would be, we would build a 30. But if we got a local road out there that doesn't have much access on it, it's going to be all local funds. I think I tried to leave a loophole in there.
Okay, I didn't recall. I know we had the discussion.
A loophole in there so that if we did have, again, if it was going to be all local funds, we could go to an Oden Bridge, which was 25.
And I mean, I think our two choices are rebuild what we have or steel pipe. I mean.
Anyway, we're just starting to do some initial work on that, but again, we might, depending on what we come up with, we might look at trying to amend the budget and the program to do something with that before July. I guess I'd like to get started on it because that cap, I don't. When we talked to the guy, he said they were going across it with a grain cart, but the grain cart was empty, but I don't know how heavy a load they were hauling or what they even haul with, whether they're using wagons or whether they're using trucks.
They use a lot of semis.
But I was just really surprised how worn the deck was.
Okay. Well,
Move to adjourn.
motion to adjourn, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Stand.